Ahoy Nickelodeon fans, and welcome to This Week in Nickelodeon History. My name is Captain Eric, and I'll be covering all of the Nickelodeon shows that either started or ended between the times of January 30th and February 5th. So I just wanted to quickly apologize about the release snafu of last week's This Week in Nickelodeon History episode. It was ready to go. I had it all queued up. And something had happened on my computer's end where I wasn't getting a connection, and I wasn't able to remotely, link in. And I also wasn't able to get home because New England was hit by Winter Storm Keenan. And I think the fact that Keenan had hit New England this hard and I was unable to get back home to release that episode, I think I'm let off the hook as far as This Week in Nickelodeon History. I feel like if there was ever a good excuse for not releasing a Nickelodeon-related project, a storm named Keenan should suffice. I should be covered by that, but I am safe. Everything was safe. We didn't get hit as hard as expected, but the snow was enough that, it was just kind of better to stay safe. Stay off the roads, let everybody clean them up, and just do my part cleaning up the sidewalks and helping out whoever else I can in the neighborhood. So hopefully anyone else out there in the New England area, or beyond, if this storm affected you, hopefully you're all safe, hopefully you're all doing well, and hopefully you're all staying safe. And if you're not in a safe position at this moment, then hopefully you are able to get one as soon as possible. So my heart's out there for you. I've been living, New England my whole life, so I know snow is never the easiest thing, and certainly for those of you out there who might be in situations that the snow is certainly impactful, then yeah, Keenan might have been a rough time. So let's move on with the rest of the episode. Now, I'm going to start this episode not with a Nickelodeon show, but with a drop of NFTs coming out on February 1st, 2022 through Funko, one of my favorite companies in the world, getting into the NFT line. And as I have talked about this frustration I've had with this current drop, I've had to, over-explain NFTs to people left and right, but then explain my frustration about them. You see, I find myself as someone on the fence in the middle of NFTs, and not that I don't understand what they are, but I feel like the people who are extremely for NFTs and the people who are extremely against NFTs are arguing about different things. You see, at least in my world, the way I can explain it are the people who are very pro NFTs are very pro for the primarily the technology that are behind them. What makes them NFTs over simply just, pictures or a JPEG or anything like that. A blockchain that you can follow from person to person, a way to track digital art. And hey, there's the subsection of people there who like to collect. And if they want to collect digital art, so be it. The people who are against it are, rightfully so, these companies and celebrities and everybody under the sun coming out of the woodwork, producing cheaply made pieces of digital art to drum up exclusivity, to drum up collectability, and to just try to make money in reality off of nothing. Now, with what Funko is doing, which I kind of like, is offering the chance to, possibly earn physical goods, which I like. I like that option. If you're going to at least gamble with digital goods, the chance to get something physical, hey, that at least, is in the same line for me as claw machines. You're throwing your money into something with the chance of earning something physical. I can get behind that. What I can't get behind and what really upsets me, and this is, I'm allowed my Bill Burr moment, okay? Everybody out there in your own world, you're allowed to have that one thing that is just it's allowed to irritate you, first world problem or not. Like you're allowed to be irritated about that one thing. And for me, it's the fact that out of the, of course, Nickelodeon drop of Funko products, out of the 6 physical pops that are dropping in this lineup, 2 of the characters have never been released ever in physical form. Vlad Plasmius and Ember McLean, villains of Danny Phantom, 2 of the most popular villains from Danny Phantom, being released under not just, a numbered exclusivity. There's only about 1,500 of these things being made. They're behind this NFT drop. And I get it. You got to dangle fruit to get people to want to come to this thing, but you could have done variations like you did with every other character in this drop, Freddy Funko, Tommy and Chucky, Arnold. You could have just done straight up variations of pre-existing characters as to not screw the average consumer. Vlad and Ember could have easily been in a Danny Phantom lineup of Funko Pops. They already released Danny on his own as a Comic-Con exclusive, but they could have easily had a full Danny Phantom release that would have sold gangbusters in Hot Topics, FYEs, GameStops, all over the country. Like, that would have been a crazy set to go after. Glow-in-the-dark variants, glitter variants, you name it. But no, they're just hiding all these characters behind all this crazy exclusivity for absolutely no reason. So it's like now I have to get into NFTs if I want a chance to buy this at a reasonable price of gambling with NFTs. And instead of the inevitable, which is going to have to spend money on the secondhand market, from somebody who gambled their money just as much as I did and won. And they're allowed to cash in on that, as I would if I were them. So, but I'm just a collector of these things because I like them. I legitimately like. None of my Nickelodeon collection is ever going to be sold. That's unless it comes to the point of owning that is a space issue. Then I'm knocking off like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then I may knock off Avatar. Then I may knock off like certain exclusives, but there's a core set of characters there that I will have for the rest of my life. And even if the boxes become an issue, well, then I'll open them up and I'll find a way to display them in a decorative way on the wall, as they're not, ruining space in my life. If I'm in a nursing home and I'm watching them, next to my bed, I love them. So I hate seeing that license being used in that way. And it's crazy because they had just did an animation drop like a week prior. And I remember at work looking at the animation characters they had for that drop, and it was like Popeye and Flash Gordon. And I was like, man, thank goodness they didn't do Nickelodeon characters. And then the next one is Nickelodeon. It's sublime. Now, with whatever I gamble with, I may not walk away with any physical pops at the end. I'm still gonna own NFTs, which may be worth money. I don't know. We'll see. It's a whole new world, as they say. But there's really there's great technology behind like the idea, like NFTs and trading digital art and knowing the owners, and if there does have to be a I know the whole idea of a transaction, but if you're in that space, it means something. And if you're not and you just want a picture, yeah, sure, copy and paste it, throw it up on the wall. You do you, whatever floats your boat. As I always say, and I've always been a collector of pops and cards and video games, and I firmly believe that this statement it's 100% true, and it just encompasses anything that you can complain about of people spending their money on NFTs, anything. Something is only worth what someone else is willing to pay for it. That's it. Nothing has any guaranteed value in this world, unless somebody's willing to pay for it. That's just it. So you could be holding on to a 101 of something, and to you, you could throw it out there for $1 million. It's only going to be worth $1 million if somebody pays for it for $1 million. That's just it. But anyway, that's a whole tangent. Let's get on to the shows, the movies, and all of the good stuff. Well, I'm not sure about this first one. 3 years ago, on February 1st, 2019, Lip Sync Battle Shorties finished its run on Nickelodeon. Presented by Nick Cannon and JoJo Siwa, the show ran for 2 seasons of 20 episodes, a spin-off of the highly popular Lip Sync Battle, in which celebrities of many degrees go on a show and lip sync to songs that maybe they shouldn't be lip syncing to, and super popular songs. And I don't know. I anytime I hear about lip sync battle, I think about what Bo Burnham mentions in his special just about it. It's celebrities we've seen too much of, lip syncing to songs we've heard too much of, and our attention is worth more than that. And I kind of believe that. I don't know. It's in some ways they've gone super over the top and creative with it. And in that regard, I can respect the theatricality of it, and actually to the degree that some of these celebrities will go. Shout out to Tom Holland and his Rihanna bit. But the Shorties version was a little bit more, down to earth, was more kid appropriate. Brought to the screen with Nick Cannon and Nickelodeon Homestay, and of course the ever popular JoJo Siwa. 4 years ago, on February 5th, 2018, Zufari, a miniseries, premiered on Nickelodeon. 5 years ago, on February 5th, 2017, Dora and Friends Into the City finished its run on Nick Jr., created by Chris Gifford and Valerie Walsh Valdez. Dora and Friends Into the City is a spin-off of Dora the Explorer that takes a teenage Dora into the city with her friends. She has multiple friends now, human friends, not just animals and trolls and monkeys and iguanas, but nope, just human friends, and she's a teenager, and I don't know what kind of adventure she's getting into. I feel like they just, even if it's more mature in language, I can't imagine it's any cooler than the adventures that Dora was going on as a child with Boots. I mean, those seemed at times mildly dangerous and adventurous. And I don't know if I could sit through Dora and Friends Into the City. It just, the idea is I don't know. What they've done with the Dora brand, at least with the live action movie, I think's pretty cool. Taking the idea of a more adult Dora, but still being like an Indiana Jones like character. That's what you do if you're gonna grow up with your audience. I mean, I heard good things about that movie. I have not seen it yet, but I've anyone who has talked about it to me in person has said decent things. So I might give that a run. 6 years ago, on February 1st, 2016, Paradise Run premiered on Nickelodeon. The American reality competition show was presented by Daniela Monet. When we just spoke about this on last week's episode, wasn't that long that we were talking about Paradise Run, and I spoke about my my like of Daniela Monet in her victorious role, but never really spoke about my my thoughts on the show. I haven't seen it since last week. But yeah, I don't know, like short-lived reality competition shows in general, it's tough for me to get into. There's so many of them, and even when there's one on Nickelodeon, I mean, I'm not flocking to it right away. But if it's worth looking into, and there's someone out there who really digs it, let me know. I will consider it. 8 years ago, on February 3rd, 2014, Wally Kazam premiered on Nickelodeon. Created by Adam Peltzman, the show ran for 2 seasons of 52 episodes. Now, I have never seen an episode of Wally Kazam, but there's one thing that I always remember anytime it's brought up. And when it was airing on television, my cousin's kid was young enough to be watching Nick Jr. at the time. And I remember I had to have been watching him, babysitting him for a while. And Nick Jr. must have been running because there was a commercial for Wally Kazam, this CGI, like, little troll, magical show, very much in the Nick Jr. style. And they were promoting a new episode that had a guest star role featuring Tony Bennett. That they were like, they promoted this guest star, so he was the most I don't know, like, the commercial at the time, I was dumbfounded as like, he was so pushed for kids. There's not a kid in the room who knows who Tony Bennett is, and I know that commercial is there for the adults, but even for, the adults at the time, like my cousin, who is older than I am, was, when I spoke to him about this, was, chuckling at the idea too, that, like, what, they were really heavily promoting Tony Bennett. I love Tony Bennett, don't get me wrong, but, like, the Nick Jr. audience is not I don't know. I don't want to down that were able to get Tony Bennett on Wally Kazam. I just, the way the commercial was shot in the moment, I remember it being humorous to me. 9 years ago, on February 2nd, 2013, Victorious finished its run on Nickelodeon. Baked out of the Schneider Bakery, the show ran for 4 seasons of 57 episodes. I really enjoyed Victorious. The cast was extremely fun, and they bounced so well off of one another. I have to say that even now, when they've been seen in Instagram posts and in videos, their chemistry is just, it's sublime. It's crazy just how much they gel with one another. And even for those that may not be as close as they once were, I mean, they still probably have that chemistry together if they had to act with one another, like, once you're able to tap into that, you can get back into that again. But the cast just won me over on this show. It was worth watching, and when it was on Netflix, it's certainly a bingeable show in that regard. And it's trust me, even though it's from Nickelodeon, it's not as, like, immature as maybe some other past live action shows you would expect. There are some kind of, like, shockingly mature moments in this show that come out of nowhere, and they just they come and go. It comes so fast that maybe even the people at Nickelodeon were like, okay, cool, all right, yeah, that's fine. And I can't say enough good things. The music is pretty fun in the show. The cast has a lot of fun playing their parts, playing their roles. The comedy is pretty good. You're not gonna sit there and hold your gut, like, laughing on the floor with tears coming out of your eyes, but there are some pretty funny episodes that still get some chuckles out of me. Now, of course, you can't bring up Victorious without bringing up the extremely massive rise of Ariana Grande that she took off in her music career, and just what an absolutely wonderful career to have for yourself. I mean, she has an extremely gifted talent with her voice, and she showed it off many times on Victorious. And Kat as a character, as ditzy as characters can get annoying on long running shows, I thought that the Kat character was very endearing throughout the show, and she played it in a grounded way at times that took away from the silliness for a second, and at least let you appreciate some emotional moments. And when you can give those goofy characters at least those emotional moments once in a while, it at least keeps the goofiness, like, okay. It's almost just like you hit the reset button again. You're like, all right, you can be nonchalantly goofy for like another few episodes, but you gotta have another emotional moment to keep everything good. I mean, that's how shows like any other sitcom, like with Family Matters and Full House, that might have to deal with the occasional annoying character, you gotta have those emotional beats with them to still keep them invested with the viewers. And I thought that Ariana's acting with that character, like, just carried it, obviously, even beyond Victorious, into a spin-off Sam and Cat alongside Jeanette McCurdy from iCarly. So yeah, Victorious, check it out if you have Netflix, if it's still on there. If not, Paramount Plus definitely has that as well. Victorious is worth a watch. I highly recommend it. 9 years ago, on February 1st, 2013, the Teen Nick Top 10 premiered on Teen Nick. Hosted by Nick Cannon, the show had a New Year's Eve special on December 31st, 2012, before becoming a regularly aired programming spot on February 1st, 2013. It's pretty much Nickelodeon's TRL, very in line with that kind of idea of music, bringing interviews to the screen as well through Nick Cannon. Ran for 7 seasons and went all the way till March 17th, 2018. 10 years ago, on February 4th, 2012, How to Rock premiered on Nickelodeon. Created by Jim O'Doherty, the show ran for 1 season of 25 episodes. 14 years ago, on February 1st, 2008, Roxy Hunter and the Secret of the Shaman premiered on Nickelodeon. The movie's director was Eleanor Lindo, and its animation directors was David Molina and Terry Shakespeare. 15 years ago, on February 3rd, 2007, the Naked Brothers Band premiered on Nickelodeon. The show, created by Polly Draper, ran for 3 seasons of 37 episodes and 5 specials. The show is a continuation of the Naked Brothers Band movie, which is a mockumentary about a fictional band of, trust me, not like thank goodness they weren't actually naked on the screen, but no, it's a band of brothers, Alex and Nat Wolf, and in fact, Polly Draper is their mother. They came up with the idea of the Naked Brothers Band and the movie project and got that made, and here they had a Nickelodeon show all their own. It ran 3 seasons, 37 episodes. That's a respectable amount of time on Nickelodeon. The show debuted with the first 2 episodes garnering 3.7 million viewers. And after their show's premiere, their big song "Crazy Car" was placed on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. And the soundtrack of the first and second seasons was on the top 200 Billboard charts. I mean, hey, that is respectable business for the Naked Brothers Band. I was not a watcher of the show, not a fan, if you will, but like I can respect the work that was placed here. It's a lot of work, and congratulations. And as I mentioned when I talked about the movie, the brothers have gone on to do incredible projects that I would recommend diving into, each of them. They've done some great stuff, so check that out. 19 years ago, on February 3rd, 2003, The Electric Piper premiered on Nickelodeon. The TV movie was directed by Raimi Musquiz and written by Bill Bennett. 24 years ago, on February 2nd, 1998, Binya Binya premiered on Nickelodeon. Binya Binya is tough to talk about because there's not much to see of it. It is a short-lived mini-series of Gullah Gullah Island. Of course, the Binya Binya frog, the Pollywog, if you will, is a very popular mascot character of the Gullah Gullah Island franchise. And they filmed this mini-series on the Nickelodeon Studios lot of Orlando, Florida, when it was open and running at the time in 1997. Filmed 5 of these episodes, and they premiered once on Nickelodeon each day from February 2nd to February 6th. And as I mentioned, they only aired once, and there was never a release of these on home video. For a while, the only known footage of this series was a promo advertising the series. And other than that, there have been some snippets of a few of the episodes that have surfaced online. But as far as I know, as of this recording, the whole Binya Binya series is still lost out there. I don't know how these pieces of lost media like come into play. People just, did they spend time just recording their televisions throughout the 90s and 80s and are just sitting on these VHS tapes only for people to shuffle them around through yard sales? And I'm sure this is exactly how things are found, but let me just double check live here. Double check and see what we got for the Binya Binya show. Yeah, we got the intro here, and that's pretty much it. Binya Binya spinoff. Let's see. I'm specifically. It's not like I didn't do like research for the show. I'm just specifically looking. We also get the credits for Binya Binya as well available. There's some clips of the show. Either way, this is just a complete lost series, and I got to imagine maybe somewhere in some yard sale, some tag sale, there's a VHS of at least one full episode of Binya Binya that was recorded in 1998. I got to imagine it's out there somewhere. We got to find this thing. It's got to be the next big like Nickelodeon hunt. I mean, we have found so many other pieces of lost media over the years that it's we're starting to run thin on like big Nickelodeon ones. Binya Binya has to be next. 30 years ago, on February 1st, 1992, Nickelodeon Wildside show premiered on Noggin. The show was a nature show hosted by kid hosts Jessica Durante and Scott Tunnell in its first season, which ended its run on September 30th, 1995. It was then picked up once more, and this is wild, 13 years ago, on February 2nd, 1999, is when the second season of the Nickelodeon Wildside show premiered with new hosts Jillian Hirasawa and Gordon Michael Wolvett. That's wild in and of itself. That second season also finished its run all the way on March 31st, 2002. I have not seen really a bit of the Nickelodeon Wildside show. The logo seems familiar, and some of the footage, like I definitely have seen maybe promos for it, or at least maybe the beginning or endings of some of these shows, but I don't have any like memories of watching it. But I always loved wildlife shows as a kid. The Jack Hanna series of VHS tapes were always a form of entertainment. Steve Irwin on Animal Planet, some of the best times I've had watching television. That guy is absolutely one of the best personalities that has ever existed. But hey, if it's wildlife involved, like I'm there. Like it's interesting to watch, and obviously if we can bring that to more kids, that kind of information, that's always a great thing. Zaboomafoo, wonderful show to learn about animals and whatnot. And to think that we're ending there, you would be wrong, because in fact, 31 years ago, on February 3rd, 1991, 15 premiered on Nickelodeon. Created by John T. Binkley, the show ran for 4 seasons of 65 episodes. And legitimately, I have no memory of this show airing on Nickelodeon. Zero memory of it. What's notable about this show is its guest cast, which included Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool himself on Nickelodeon all the way back in the 90s. I have no recollection of the show, but 15 followed the students of fictional Hillside School and dealt with a variety of issues, including dating, divorce, alcohol abuse, infidelity, and friendship. The show played heavily into stereotypes, including 2 characters named Dylan and Chris, who wore leather jackets to show off their toughness, but which could not completely disguise their inner selves. At one point, they play a gig with their band Teenagers in Love at local eatery and hangout spot, the Avalon. All right, cool guys in leather jackets. It's what it's all about. Ryan Reynolds actually played one of the main characters, Billy Simpson, for the through the 4 seasons. So that's very interesting. Hey, check it out. I have no, like, is 15 on Paramount Plus? Let's do a search right now. Let's pull up Paramount Plus. Let's see if 15 is on there. And I mean, it ran for a substantial amount of time. Now, I don't know if this is fully Nickelodeon owned. No, 15's not popping up. Uh-oh, we couldn't find that. Well, it looks like YTV was involved, and that's where it aired in Canada also from 1991. So I don't know if they just solely own it. But the rerun rights are currently, oh, well, I should have just looked right here. Rerun rights are currently held by the Peter Rogers Organization, which has made the first season of 15 available for free on YouTube. And I'm currently clicking on a YouTube link to just double check for you and all of you 15 fans. This playlist does not exist. Don't click on that link. Let me just search it. 15. No, not Taylor Swift. Nickelodeon. There we go. 15 Nickelodeon full episodes. Yeah, you can certainly find episodes of 15 around YouTube. It's certainly not hard to find, including scenes with a young Ryan Reynolds. They're all right there on YouTube. We'll dive in that, check it out another time. But anyway, that is this week in Nickelodeon history. Thank you for joining me on this episode. If you have made it thus far, thank you for endearing me. Thank you for making me a part of your week. You are a part of mine, and I appreciate each and every one of you for joining me on this week in Nickelodeon history. Until next time, stay safe, be kind to one another, and we will see you here next time.
On the Lord Hut, here a hut, Nick. On the Lord Hut, here a hut, Nick. On the Ricky Tickle, while living #1 Nickelodeon.